So we now go back to Minimax due to the delay earlier on. Here is your starting grid for the Minimax Euro Golden Trophy final. Jacob Ashcroft and Zdeněk Babacek will be on the front row. Boris Maximov and Albert Friend on row 2. Henry Domain and Mats van Rooyen, row 3. Maxime Becker and Felipe Reyes, row 4, with Kenzo Craigie and Nikita Lubimov rounding out the top 10. So we also have Gabriel Hoffmann and Jakub Kubera, row 6. Row 7, Juri Levar and Noah Baron. Oliver Warner and Patrikas Jokius, row 8. Row 9, James Robertson, Dimitri Matrenin. Jensen Chalk and Marcel Zebo round out the top 20. Mažas Mazinas, Daniel Minto, Ryan Rivers, Boris Verhaag, Christoph Killer, Christian Stefanov, Jente Moonen, Leopold Joux, Ethan Seng, Carlos Nees, Prokor Sokolotsev, Kasper Nissen, Jakub Assam, Jakub Gasparovic, Nikita Nikishov and Nick Graselic round out the 36 strong Minimax grid. So the drivers now go on to their official formation lap ahead of 11 minutes, plus 1 lap of racing. So last year it was Matej Nedeljkovic who was the Euro Golden Trophy champion. I have to give a shout out to the marshals that are braving the elements out here at Karting Genk. As the drivers now trying to use these 2 laps to really get an understanding of how much grip they're going to be able to have underneath them. So now the front 3 rows have got themselves into position. Everyone, oh, bit of a Maxime Becker was a bit late on the brakes, I think, going through into turn 10. As they're going to maximise as much time as they can. So 36 Minimax drivers make their way out of the final corner. Revs rise. Are we ready? Are we steady? The Minimax Golden Trophy final gets going. Ashcroft leads the field. A deluge of spray. Rooster tails going through into turns 1 and 2. And everyone is trying to get through. We have got a spinner off of the runoff area. I'm not too sure who that might have been. It might have been Henry Domain, possibly. There's more drivers going off, coming out of turn 4. Nikita Nikishov trying to make some headway. Oh, Maxime Becker spins around, and it has caused bedlam behind. A rejoin from Jakub Kubera. Maxime Becker stuck on the inside, pointing the wrong way through turn 6. Oh, well, that was a full-on half rotation. If it was a full rotation, he'd be pointing the other way and catching up with everybody. But at the front of the field, Zdeněk Babacek going side by side with Boris Maximov, who has just got through. Mats van Rooyen now in 4th, could make that 3rd. Zdeněk Babacek, though, fires it towards the outside and did not get through on turn 11. A little bit further back, everyone's squabbling. Kenzo Craigie ahead of the 114. That's Oliver Warner. Warner started 14th. The wet weather has been a bit of an equaliser in this one. And karts are everywhere. I mean everywhere. 3 abreast going into the approach into turn number 12 and still able to get traction. And now Mats van Rooyen was looking up the inside of Boris Maximov going through turn number 3. And it's getting a bit too close for comfort. I think I just spotted Mažas Mazinas from Lithuania. Had about 2 or 3 karts behind coming out of turn number 3. And you can just see how far towards the white line these drivers are going. And they're very, very close to being at that pinch point where if they touch the white line, that could mean that driver might spin around inadvertently. Mats van Rooyen. Mats van Rooyen is still trying to hunt down Boris Maximov a little bit further up the road. There's drivers, Oliver Warner going sideways through turn 10. So was Jakub Cabrera. There is Boris Maximov and Mats van Rooyen. Line astern, both running on the Praga chassis. So 8 minutes and a quarter still to go. Van Rooyen pulls the trigger, goes up the inside. Will Maximov get the undercut? He's braking so hard, the left rear wheel went upwards, and now he's going to try and go around the outside through turn 4. Van Rooyen keeps it parked on the racing line. Maximov sweeping one way, then the other to the extreme outside of turn 6. Is he going to hook it up and get the traction? That's an absolute launch and a half, and he goes right behind Mats van Rooyen, nearly gets alongside him into turn 7, but runs wide in the runs to the outside through into the braking zone. And Van Rooyen a little bit wide coming through turn number 8. Denny Babacek is closing in on them. A little bit further back. Well, we've just had our first penalty issued. It's gone to Gabriel Hoffmann. 5-second penalty for overtaking after the red line towards the start phase. I think I've just spotted Jakub Gasparovic. And Gasparovic started 34th. He's already qualified as the young driver for the grand finals, but already to be in the top 20. And now we've got all this happening. We've got Kenzo Craigie at the back of the train. Gabriel Hoffmann trying to go up the inside through into turn 2. 3 abreast as Kenzo Craigie makes it through. Is he going to keep it pinned to the outside of Gabriel Hoffmann? He's going to get the switch back, and he gets 3 for the price of 1 through turns 3 and 4. Brilliantly done by Kenzo Craigie, but then loses out coming into turn 5, loses one of those 3 positions, and back up the inside he goes. It could be very close there. The 2 round the outside, and Kenzo Craigie absolutely masterful there. Brilliant stuff from the 150 from Argenti Motorsport. And if you can line it up like that, as it's a bit close for comfort for Felipe Reyes, of all people. And I think that might have been Majus Mazinas that was battling away in the 185. Well, this weather is, again, you know, even in the dry we had dramas. Now we've got even more unpredictability in this race. There's Denny Babacek still holding on to what is going to be 4th on the road as Jacob Ashcroft from pole position has led. And pretty much, 137, that is James Roberts, and is around. And Marcel Zebo goes around the outside through turn 12 of the 137. Well, that just goes to show that one moment like that can change the complexity of your race, and not just your race. Sometimes it could be others as well. Kenzo Craigie, what's more, has bolted away, as that is Albert Friend in the pits. And that's a shame for the 191 from Hartford. Starting at the sharp end of the grid, actually on the outside of row 2 in 4th place. Now there's Gabriel Hoffmann, and Felipe Reyes just got served a big old overtake up the inside. That was Kasper Nissen from Denmark in the 108. Kasper Nissen again, well, sweeps right to the outside, has to thread the eye of the needle between Felipe Reyes and Gabriel Hoffmann. So he swung to the outside of Kasper Nissen and thought, right, I've got a gap, I'm going for it, and did the job. And now looking to the inside of the 109, Jureleva. And has got through. So Casper Nissen, in the wet weather conditions, really enjoying, really reveling in what's going on at the moment, but swings wide, nearly goes sideways. To the outside he goes of Jureleva, then nearly bang wheels going through into turn 6. Gabriel Hofmann up the inside and gets swamped on the left and the right. And still these two, that could have nearly been very, very messy for the pair of them. A little bit of a touch from behind. Casper Nissen receives, and that allows Jureleva to get through. Gabriel Hofmann trying to also get through on the 108. And he was the one that had Levard to the outside, Nissen to the inside through turn number 6. And then through turn 9, he loses a position to Felipe Reyes. Good to hear from my old buddy. Greetings to Tony Kakati. Hope you're keeping well in the UAE. It's been a while, mate. So 3 minutes to go, plus an additional lap. Jacob Ashcroft does not have the lead anymore. Right, well, whether Jacob Ashcroft has had a little bit of a drama. He's lost the lead, and it's Mats van Rooyen that now leads by 7.5 tenths of a second. Ashcroft's last lap, well, the time before was a 1 minute 19.925. Mats van Rooyen leading the way. Was a 1 minute 18.279. That was the fastest lap of anybody. And there is your race leader with the Noughts and Crosses Helmet Special Edition. And there is Ashcroft, I think, behind him. So they're coming through into turn number 9. So through into turn number 10. And a little bit further back, more battles happening. Still, we go back to the likes of Gabriel Hofmann, who gets up the inside of Felipe Reyes. Down towards turn number 10, through the right-hander. And a little bit of a moment there. Look at Nikita Nikishov. Has come storming through the field. Whilst others have had dramas, the Spaniard has kept it cool and calm. And started 35th. Nikita Nikishov is now in the top 10 and climbing the order. A little bit of flapping on the front bumper there from Casper Nissen. Possibly might be to do with the wind. However, there is a penalty coming, and it's gone to the 136. Jent Thimoonen in 20th position. 5-second time penalty for pushing as we head into the final 65 seconds of the race. And now still this battle wages on, and now Gabriel Hofmann has lost a place to Nikita Nikishov. And now Nikishov looking up the inside gets a little bit of an inadvertent assist from Gabriel Hofmann as the Spaniard now passed Felipe Reyes going into turn 7. Behind them is the recovering Jakub Gasparovic and also Henry Domain. Felipe Reyes is trying to push the door open slightly as Henry Domain gets through on Jakub Gasparovic and looks to be well, that is a Birel ART chassis. Was trying to pick out the number. So it was the 185. So that was Majus Mazinas. Normally runs on a Paralin. Is in a Birel art this time. So 10 seconds remain on the timer. Mats van Rooyen now has nearly a 2.1 second advantage over Great Britain's Jacob Ashcroft as Gabriel Hofmann sends it up the inside of, that would have been Felipe Reyes. But there is your race leader. The timer has expired. So another penalty's coming. Oh, Jurileva's got a 5-second time penalty for pushing as well now. As our race leader, Mats van Rooyen, comes through into turn 10 for the penultimate time. There's Jacob Ashcroft. There's Boaz Maximov and Denny Babacek. Now, what's important is the fact that we will have a Golden Trophy winner, but the top 3 have already qualified, which means it then goes down to the next driver. So one more lap to go. Mats van Rooyen goes into turns 1 and 2. There's Jacob Ashcroft, winner of the Rotax Grand Festival in the Netherlands earlier on this year. Boris Maximov in third. Denny Babicek. Kenzo Craigie has done a great recovery despite the red flag, not being able to get the cart off of the start line. Having the red flag, having a chance to get that cart sorted out. He started 9th. He's now currently in P5. So at the moment, a lot of drivers still making their way through the Europalan. That's the 150 going through shot, Kenzo Craigie. As Mats van Rooyen makes his way out of turn number 9 for the final time. In Minimax last year, it was Matej Radenkovic, as Denny Babicek loses out third to Boris Maximov. But towards the final corner we head. And from the Netherlands, it was Belgium last year. It's going to be the Netherlands this year as Mats van Rooyen starts celebrating. He's got plenty of time to do it as he becomes the 2022 Minimax Euro Golden Trophy champion. Jacob Ashcroft takes second, 3.3 seconds adrift. Boris Maximov and Denny Babicek, followed by Kenzo Craigie, round out your top 5 positions. And here come the rest of the field. We'll have 35 of the 36 drivers having made the checker flag after 9 very, very heavy wet weather laps around this circuit here at Karting Genk as the rain continues to fall. So, coming through, Mats van Rooyen having his front fairing inspected, and that's free and clear. So Mats van Rooyen takes the win provisionally by 3.365 seconds, ahead of Jacob Ashcroft with Boris Maximov, Denny Babicek and Kenzo Craigie rounding out the top 5. Kasper Nissen, Nikita Nikishov, Henry Domain, Yuri Levar and Jakub Gasparovic rounding out the top 10. Levar will get a 5-second time penalty added to the race time, dropping the 109 out of the top 10. Felipe Reyes, Majus Mazinas, Oliver Warner, Boris Verhaag, Gabriel Hoffman, Jensen Chalk. Great run by Kyrgyzstan's Prokhor Sokolotsev to 17th. Carlos Nees, Nikita Lubimov, Maxime Becker, Marcel Zebo, James Roberts, Noah Borum, Dimitri Matrenin, Christian Stefanov, Leopold Jouch, Christoph Killer, Jens Thimunen, Jakub Kubera, Patrikas Jokius, Eason Seng from Chinese Taipei, Jakob Assam, Daniel Minto, Ryan Rivers, and Nick Braselic. And unfortunately, with a handful of laps completed, Albert Friend retired. So earlier on today, the red flag meant that we had to reschedule the Minimax final, but the drivers were all smiles, thumbs ups and waves, and actually, it was Jensen Chalk that was doing the double wave with Jordan Baines, his mechanic behind him. But under the wet weather, the rooster tail's in full effect as the red lights went out and the final got underway with Jacob Ashcroft having Denny Babicek alongside. But you see the likes of Boris Maximov looking to get through on the inside. Mats van Rooyen round the outside as we had our first drama coming into the opening lap as the field concertinaed. And we had our first turnaround. A little bit later on, Maxime Becker on the inside got a little bit of an assist. That was from Mats van Rooyen as Kenzo Craigie went rally crossing, having to avoid Jakub Kubera. Maxime Becker had to wait until everyone got through and no one else clattered into the young German. With the frustration very, very clear to see. Mats van Rooyen then made his pass on Boris Maximov as Jacob Ashcroft had managed to get a little bit of a lead. But that lead would at some point fade a little bit by the wayside as Mats van Rooyen managed to get through. Then there were battles galore between Kenzo Craigie, who was side-by-side into turn 3 with Gabriel Hofmann, and then threaded the eye of the needle and got 3 for the price of 1, getting past Jure Levart and Felipe Reyes in the process. Jure Levart managed to get through on the 108 of Casper Nissen, who also got through, and they both went one way and the other on the outside of Gabriel Hofmann, and they nearly clashed. But Mats van Rooyen saw the fireworks and the flames by the left-hand side of the start-finish straight and becomes the Minimax 2022 Euro Golden Trophy champion.